and a very warm welcome to this special edition of Middle East Matters. We come to you from the Institut du Monde Arabe here in the French capital, which is currently celebrating the divas of the region, from Oum Kalthoum to Dalida to Fairuz. And these women weren't just the greatest artists of the 20th century. Some of them were also pioneering feminists in deeply patriarchal societies. Let's go and have a look together. Now, one of the faces of this exhibition is none other than Oum Kalthoum, a woman whose voice that you're hearing as we speak is still ingrained in the musical memory of the region. Now, while her career extended from the 1930s to the 1970s, her songs, some of them political, are still being played on the streets, in the cafes, even taxis across Egypt.
Complete with a bun, scarf and black glasses, this image is instantly recognizable on the streets of Cairo. Oum Kalthoum's voice rings out in taxis and cafes, a great source of pride for Egypt.
She's above everything. She's still on top of the world. She's made real sultans out of us Egyptians.
When I drive, I put on Oum Kalthoum. That way, I avoid accidents.
Oum Kalthoum began life as a young peasant girl before going on to become an icon of Arabic music, a symbol of Egyptian greatness. This record salesman believes no one has shone brighter than the singer dubbed the Star of the East.
Her voice was very powerful, and she knew how to adapt to all styles of music. She wasn't simply satisfied by pronouncing the lyrics. She would completely embody them. We've seen all kinds of artists across the Arab world, but none of them have been like her.
A true diva and master of improvisation, Oum Kalthoum would perform at concerts for hours on end. This puppeteer organises monthly shows where Egyptians still enjoy the magic of her music. Over 15 years, the show has consistently sold out.
You feel like the chairs are moving, the people are, the hearts are jumping out and back every second. It's crazy. Oum Kalthoum is so powerful, so magical. She really touches every heart and she makes it through. I have a word that I keep saying. Oum Kalthoum makes people love the love itself.
More than 45 years after her death, it looks like Oum Kalthoum, also known as the Fourth Pyramid of Egypt, is here to stay.
Now, to delve into the ideas behind this exhibition, I'm joined by one of the curators, Élodie Bouffard. Thank you so much for welcoming us into this magnificent show.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much, Élodie. Now, can you tell us why you decided to shed light on these divas? We can call them these timeless icons of the region.
The very idea of this exhibition was born 4 or 5 years ago. We were working with music producers from the region who were going to make a soundtrack for one of our exhibitions, and they shared with us their love of these divas, their desire to integrate all these songs into their music. So we started to realize there was a real impact of these divas on younger generations. These women, masters of Arab music, left a huge heritage.
So you've just mentioned this extraordinary cultural heritage, but of course for these women it really goes beyond that. Some of them were feminists. Others were confronted with, we could say, a plethora of societal, political challenges, weren't they, Élodie?
What's important in this exhibition is to understand how much these women were living in a very patriarchal society. We start the exhibition with the very first divas, the pioneers. It was important not to only focus on the most famous ones. The whole first part of the exhibition shows women who had to fight to get on stage, to fight to open their theatres, to fight to produce their first films. By doing that, they paved the way for the divas who continued the battle to defend their place in society.
There were fighters, there were pioneers. There's so much to look at. What would you say the highlights of this exhibition are?
We decided to make the entire exhibition very immersive. And when it comes to the golden voices, the four most famous divas, Asman, Warda, Kalthoum, and Fairuz, we created a little theatre where people can sit down and listen to these mighty singers on stage, just like at a concert. And we are very lucky because for the first time ever, we managed to edit pictures filmed by Youssef Chahine in 1969, pictures of Oum Kalthoum in colour, and that's very rare. He filmed them but never used them, and there wasn't any sound on them. So we did some research and managed to find the matching music. So you can see and hear Oum Kalthoum singing Auf Laila Welala in 1969 in Tanta.
Chantant Alf Laila ou Laila en 69 à Tanta.
And it's really immersive. You really feel like it's the closest you can get to being there. I do want to zoom out if we can. I want to speak to you about some of the projects that you commissioned on the sidelines of this exhibition. One of them was working closely with a number of Michelin-starred chefs who devoted a dish to some of these divas. If you can tell us about Jason Gouzi.
Jason
is chef at a restaurant called the Pantagruel. He came to visit the show in February. Just like everyone else, he fell completely in love with our divas, and especially with Oum Kalthoum and Asma'an. So he created 3 signature dishes. He created 3 recipes based on scallops. Because it was the season then, he was inspired by the color, the texture. He copied Oum Kalthoum's iconic glasses using truffle, and he interpreted the mystery of Asma'an. He paid tribute to the beauty of her dresses, her jewelry, with references to diamonds and pearls.
I'm going to stop you there if I can because my mouth is watering as you're talking about these dishes. If I can, I'm going to ask you a slightly more challenging question. Who would you say the modern-day divas of the region are today?
The world has changed. The divas we're talking about here are real icons of their time. There is a whole political dimension to them, linked to the Arab world, to pan-Arabism, to decolonization, to modernity. They were at the very heart of that global movement that was transforming the Arab world. Today, it's more regional or even national. Historically, artistically, things are very different. It's difficult to compare. Nowadays, there are huge Arab pop stars, but divas such as Oum Kalthoum, no. Divas as we interpret them here, no, it's not their time anymore.
Malheureusement, aujourd'hui, elle aurait du mal à exister.
So divas no more. Élodie Bouffard, thank you so much for talking to us about this colourful exhibition.
Merci beaucoup.
Now, for me, one of the most impressive things about this exhibition is that several female contemporary artists, also hailing from the region, joined forces to celebrate these divas. And we spoke to 2 of them, Shirin Neshat of Iran and Shirin Abu Shakra, born to a Lebanese father and a Syrian mother. Here's a report from Munia Qasim.
I realized she's untouchable. No one can demystify Oum Kalthoum. For me, she was always a puzzle because she never showed so much emotions, but she steered so much emotions of her audience. I never understood that. How could she be so much like a rock, you know? And so throughout making this film, I found out that, in fact, being a mythical artist like she is, she wanted to remain an image, not really a human being like I am.
Oum Kalthoum.
I think with Oum Kalthoum, her grandeur is that she reached and crossed such a boundaries from Israel to, you know, all over North Africa, to Iran, then to Europe. Bob Dylan mentioned her. I mean, she's not a local story, her achievements. And I think that's what makes her extremely exceptional.
C'est l'histoire de l'actrice qui est sur scène et qui passe par plusieurs personnages. Je replaçais son parcours et à partir d'un certain moment, elle vieillit et comment elle revit tout ça et comment elle se rappelle. Souvent, une chanson peut m'inspirer un film ou dans le montage, la musique vient aussi avant. Donc c'est pas uniquement les femmes, c'est pas une obsession uniquement des femmes, mais c'est le son. C'est une sublimation de tous les parcours que j'ai pu regarder et lire et suivre. C'est le temps réellement qui trahit et que la beauté en réalité, qu'est-ce que la beauté?
That's it from me and the team this week. We hope you enjoyed taking a peek into the colourful world of the divas as much as we did.